they can't be hypnotized or properly conditioned for.
You're looking for volunteers. Tell me more about that.
Well, I've been doing this for a while now, and you won't believe how many people are just freaked out about hypnosis. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. Everyone I go to just loves it and wants me to put them right under. I don't have that
I
issue.
had that. That's the opposite for me.
I know that's the exact opposite for me too. Like we literally just filmed an episode 2 months ago where I got literally 2 straight hours of no's.
Really?
I did 2 straight hours of cold approach street hypnosis and got 2 straight hours of no. And the first yes we got, we recorded it and then left.
Wow.
So it's normal. Welcome to the game.
So
You're not alone.
it's not just me.
No, so here's the thing. If you just walk up to people, you are very likely to encounter what I encountered during that one episode that we tried to film in July, where you're going to get just hours of no. So part of what we train is here's how to do it. Here's the sociology behind it to make it make sense and to make it less creepy to people. Especially cold approach street hypnosis is very creepy. You're literally approaching strangers and you're like, hey, let me play with your mind. And they're like, stranger danger.
Okay.
Mom and dad told me no. And you're like,
Okay.
no, 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 but trust me. And they're like, why? So that's like, you have to understand from their perspective, that is their automatic, natural kind of survival mechanism, like stranger danger, some guy coming up to me and wanting to literally manipulate my most powerful asset, my mind.
Okay.
And you're like, yeah, let me just do this really quick thing. And they're like, what do you mean quick thing with the no? And obviously Hollywood hasn't helped us. The movie Get Out and other movies like that are hypnotic.
Not to mention the soap operas.
So, I mean, we have a lot working against us, and my tea's about ready. So I'm going to get that here in a few seconds, but I'm going to leave you off, not leaving you, but I'm going to leave on the note of the note KISS. And we teach all students in HypnoKick University this. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. What is the most simplistic and comparable way you can relate hypnosis to something they would understand to make it more humanized to them and make them more comfortable with the idea of getting hypnotized? So for
Okay.
example, have you ever been driving and then missed your exit because you were thinking about something else?
Yeah.
That's called highway hypnosis. Now, what if you could use that same state to experience phenomenal mental, physical, and emotional relaxation in the next 60 seconds for free? Would you be interested?
Yeah, sure.
I just gave you a very basic street approach script right there. Now, are you regularly doing this, or is this just like a side hobby, or what is it to you?
Just a side hobby.
All right, so numbers game. It's kind of like sales and marketing. If you knock on 100 doors, if you call 100 people, if you go out and talk to 100 people, you're eventually going to get a yes, but you got to get through a bunch of no's first to, one, understand that what you're experiencing is normal and the majority of people, especially for cold approach, aren't going to want this. And two, how to approach different personality types. Because in the same way that different personality types react differently to stage or street hypnosis, they're also going to react differently when you do cold approach and you're segueing from basic conversation to I'm a hypnotist and let me hypnotize you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, for example, people who are very analytical might think, I'm not sure about that or that's bullshit. And then you educate them. And like for me, I just literally refer them to a free lesson on HypnoKick that actually shows the scientific studies proving the efficacy and existence of hypnosis. And they're like, oh, well, I'm not sure I could be hypnotized. So now they went from I don't believe it to, okay, so it might be studied and real, but I'm not sure if I could be hypnotized. And then you can use an example. Have you ever been driving and you missed an exit because you're so hyper focused on something? It's a very simple question. Again, we're keeping it as simple and relatable as possible. So that way, all you're really doing is you're rebuttaling every little kind of conversational hurdle, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because these are going to be the main things that are going to come up over and over and over and over and over and over again. Again, I've been doing this since 2011. It doesn't change. It's always the same. It's either freaked out, bullshit, or I'm interested, but like, I don't know, or like, do me now, hypnotize me now. So there's all those kind of personalities, even with stage hypnosis. Like our average show, we have between 20 to 40 volunteers, but then we whittle down all the way between 6 to sometimes 15, because it comes down to the personality of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to understand when we're doing cold approach street hypnosis. These people have no clue who you are, which is why you have a conversation about them, which is why you have to tell them you're a hypnotist before you get into anything. And once you get on top of a conversation, if they seem interested, then it's a matter of how do we conversationally steer in a manner that makes them comfortable, that makes sense, and also helps us get our foot in the door with their acceptance. Because the number one reason people never make it, they're like, oh, I can't do it. You know, hypnosis is a bogus career. It's like, well, no, you just weren't patient. Or no, you just didn't have enough thick skin to understand that people are going to say no. The biggest thing I'm going to give you in terms of kind of emotional intelligence is to understand the majority of people are going to say no. And if you go into it looking for a no, it's kind of hard to be hurt if you're expecting a no.
Okay.
Because what that does is it reverses the emotional reaction, negative reaction of getting a no and be like, oh gosh, they said no to me. Why? Why did they say no to me? And instead you're like, no, okay, cool. And you move on, get the next no. Cool, you move on, get the next no. Cool, you move on, get the next. I'm sorry, you said yes? All right, let's do this. And then that's the kind of new mentality you have. Now, granted, my videographers have seen me during street hypnosis demonstrations do the same thing, where it's like, I get anxious that those first few approaches, but after that, I am able to then turn on that mentality of, okay, let's get the no. All that matters is getting the no, because eventually, numbers game, someone's eventually going to say yes. If you ask enough people, someone's going to say yes. If we give up early, of course, we're not going to have a good day. We gave up early.
Yeah. Okay. I had a couple of friends do it. Some people I just met out on the street and did it. I got really good because I met my friend Emily, and I had this shirt that said want to get hypnotized, ask me. And I don't know why, but something was telling me, wear that shirt today. And you know, people would come up and ask me about it, and that was about it. And Emily came up to me and she asked me, can you really do that? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I've been wanting to try it for a while. So I hypnotized her on the bus for a few minutes. And then we exchanged numbers, and then we met up one day. And that's how I got really good at it, because that was my main volunteer. If it was not for her, I probably wouldn't be as decent as I am right now.
But you said you have Facebook, right?
Yes.
So do you just have family on there, or do you have family or friends, or what's your Facebook account like? Do you have a
Family and friends.
and how many do you have, do you think, approximately?
Last time I saw the friends list, it said 265.
So just off that alone, if we're looking at people that would be willing to do something, it'd be like, if we're taking super conservative numbers, like 1%, you're out of 100 people, you're likely to find at least one person, probably a female, that would like to be hypnotized for the purpose of relaxation and almost kind of like meditative stress relief. And if you frame it like that, be like, hey, I'm offering stress reduction or anxiety reducing hypnosis to help people with a mental escape or something like that. And it's about, again, how you phrase it. One, they know you, so it's a warm approach. So you're not having to freak people out in a cold approach. And two, you're saying, hey, I'm practicing this skill. And you can even say, hey, I'm practicing the skill of hypnosis to help people reduce stress and anxiety. Who would enjoy a 30-minute session? Or who would enjoy 2 30-minute sessions or something like that? That's a really easy way to get yourself out there. And obviously it's via social media, so it's not as painful versus in person, people being like, no, weirdo, get away from me. But via social media,
Oh, yeah.
a little bit more emotionally easy on you. But also that way, if you get someone who's willing to pay, then it's like, cool, this much, you get the experience, you give them the session, and now you have that visual proof from recording it as well. Put that up, and then very slowly, and this is part of the other reason you're going to want to do it as much as possible, because even if you're not trying to go pro with it, The fact is, if you want to do this as a hobby and you want more volunteers and you're continuously struggling month after month, that means month after month, you're putting less effort into getting the volunteers and doing everything I'm saying versus the exact opposite, which is obviously not the case because that's why we're here to begin with. So it's a lot of legwork in the beginning to get the warm approach, to get the cold approach and put yourself out there. But if you're consistently doing that for the next several months, you're going to naturally grow. It's just a matter of how much effort, time, and energy are you willing to put forth to start and make it happen.